Hey guys, we're back live at the PlayStation booth at E3, day 3. Here to check out a game I'm quite interested in. That's Sword Coast Legends. We're joined by Ash Sevilla, community manager at Endspace.
How's it
Welcome,
going, man?
Ash.
Thank you so much.
So, okay, I have a little bit of a history with Dungeons and Dragons here.
Yeah.
This is a D&D game through and through.
Absolutely.
I love those old school gold box SSI games,
Right.
Pool of Radiance, Curse of the Azure Bonds. I love that stuff. I played all through my childhood.
Yeah.
What is a game like Sword Coast Legends? How is that going to appeal to a guy like me?
Well, we're very much hearkening back to those games. Like our history at the studio, we have a lot of guys that worked on games like that in the past. And so we're really trying to kind of not only build on that nostalgia, but also create something new and dynamic. And that's what we'll be showing off. And we are showing off here at E3 with our campaign creation DM tools. So it's pretty exciting, yeah.
So this is something a little different. And I mean, I think there's a lot to take in. D&D is in its classic form is a very complex game, right? There's a lot of moving pieces, but it's so much fun once you get them down.
For sure.
This is a game that allows players to, one player to serve as the dungeon master, other players sort of are out to sort of overcome those challenges. So talk a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, like so like you said, I've been playing D&D on and off since I was a kid, so I was like 7 years old. Got my first monster manual.
Oh, those are the best.
I know, right? I kind of learned how to read and learned about all the monsters from the monster manual. And so I always got stuck being the DM. And when I say stuck, I mean, it was incredibly fun.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's quite a learning curve, right? There's so many rules, different editions come out. And what we're trying to do with Sword Coast Legends is make it accessible, but also really robust. So we want players to be able to create whatever the heck they want, like a DM, but we don't want people to have to spend countless hours building, their own campaign. Now you can, if you'd like to, you can get in there and really build an incredibly massive campaign. But if you want to go in and create something in 5 minutes, you can do that as well. And players can play for hours just on your 5 minutes of preparation. So yeah, so the tools are awesome.
That's great. So give me an example, like a basic example of how a bunch of players over PSN might interact with the game with a DM, a dungeon master.
Right. So what the DM will do is he'll basically create the adventure from scratch. So you can create quest NPCs, you can create the locations, you can create all the decorations inside the locations. If you want to set up a cabin and have all sorts of riddles and clues inside that the players have to solve, the Dungeon Master can do that, right? And then the Dungeon Master actually interacts with the players in real time. So up to 4 other players can hop into his session, and the players can actually go through that DM's custom-created adventure and basically have fun. So the players create their characters, they take them on various adventures, and the Dungeon Master just sits back and actually actively participates by controlling monsters, controlling environments, setting traps. He can actually jump into the various monsters, which is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
For me as a fan and somebody who used to be a DM, getting in there and actually having access to all the different monster abilities is incredible. So
that's
you can do all that in real time. So the DM's not bored.
Yeah, no, Dungeon Master, that sounds like a lot of fun. And it's not something we see in very many games, to be honest. There's some really old school games that are along those lines, but usually the Dungeon Master is fighting NPCs or fighting computer-controlled characters, and this is kind of the best of both worlds. You've got real living humans on both sides, but are there options for computer-controlled characters as well?
Yeah, so there actually is a really robust player campaign. It's all, it's incredibly long. You'll encounter various characters along the way. They're all voiced, and so you can actually play that player campaign by yourself. And go through it and actually have pause and play action, similar to like, Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age Origins. So you can pause and play, direct the various characters, or if your friends want to hop in with their characters, you can do that with up to 4 players. So in the regular campaign, which is very cool. Yeah.
Very cool. So I'm just checking out this footage actually for the first time here. I know you guys have had a lot to show here at E3.
Yeah.
But I could see where there's some gamers that might not be as familiar with D&D. They might look at this and go, oh, it kind of looks a little bit like a Diablo or something along those lines. But it's actually quite different. I mean, I think it seems like it's got some of the accessibility maybe of a game like that. But this is a very different game style. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in order to be successful in Sword Coast Legends, you do have to think and play tactically. Not to say that you don't have to think and play tactically in Diablo, but you have to work together. For instance, we have a lot of the core D&D character classes. So the rogue has to be the one who's in the front looking for traps and disarming them. If you don't have a rogue in your party, you might get in a lot of trouble. So you actually have to talk, using voice over IP, talk it out, figure out what you want to do, think tactically, and work together. That being said, it is pretty action-packed. You have access to a wide variety of different abilities from Dungeons & Dragons. So you can really build the character you want to build, and then hopefully, if everyone is actually working together, get through the adventure tactically. So
That's cool. So it looks like you guys are using the 5th generation rules.
Right.
Talk a little bit about, because D&D, I mean, went in some very interesting directions with 3, 3.5, and 4.
Yeah.
But it started to get more and more and more complex. And I know one of the big selling points on 5 was that it kind of boiled things back down again a little bit more towards that old school style. So get folks caught up on exactly how that's going to be reflected here.
Sure. So we've been working alongside Wizards of the Coast from the very beginning, and our rules are, I wouldn't say a streamlined version of 5th edition rules, but we're trying to really reflect the feel of 5th edition, which is, like you said, it's streamlined, it's a little bit less complex, it's really fun, and it really stresses role-playing, which we're really into. We're hoping that when players jump in, their DMs will actually be voicing the different characters they encounter and, actually role-playing their way through their adventures.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean, when it works really well, so we're hoping people to actually try and do that. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, so for folks who aren't D&D, maybe let's back up for a second. What are some of the key character classes, some of the key sort of strategies those classes might use in sort of this co-op environment?
So we're going to launch with a Cleric and Ranger, Paladin.
Ranger's my jam. That's my jam.
So good.
Yeah.
And you can specialize these characters in a variety of different ways. If you want to be a ranged Ranger with a bow, you can do that. If you want to do the dual scimitars, you can do that. You can do all sorts of different things and really tweak your characters out to to your heart's content. So we have Fighter, I already said Rogue. Did I say Rogue?
Yeah.
Wizard. Basically, we have the main core classes, a variety of different races and sub-races to play as well. So you can really get in there and build something truly unique that maybe your friend down the street isn't building. So
very cool.
And we're hoping to add more later on too.
So when are you guys looking to release this one on PS4?
We're hoping by the end of 2015. That's the goal. Fingers
well, not
crossed.
Bad.
Yeah.
Are
so
you guys
Q4.
experimenting at all with the DualShock 4s? Obviously, you got a couple of interesting functions, whether it's the touchpad, whether it's the motion controls. Are you looking at?
What I love with the DualShock 4 is the microphone or the speaker. I love the speaker, so I'm hoping that we do implement something with the speaker. We don't have anything quite yet, but we're gonna really try and add something pretty soon. And I'm hoping it's that speaker because it could be cool to have the different monster sounds come out of there. I think.
Hey, that could be really cool. Actually,
absolutely.
So, what's your favorite? Just for as a final question here, is you're close to the game. What's your personal favorite detail about this game that other people might not notice?
I already mentioned it briefly earlier, but for me as a dungeon master, being able to actually control monsters on the fly and gain access to their ability sets is just phenomenal.
Because some of these monsters have ridiculous abilities.
So you look, if you guys are looking at the screen now, you see that all the characters have different skills on their skill bar. All of our monsters in our game have different skills on their skill bar, so the dungeon master has access to literally hundreds of different abilities, and so it becomes a tactical experience for the DM as well to get in there and actually learn how to play those different monsters. So, and it's really interesting to see all the different nuances you can come up with as a dungeon master to get in there and really either torment the players or give them a good experience, just like a real tabletop DM.
Ash, I will be playing your game.
Absolutely.
There is no doubt. There is no doubt I will play your game. Thank you very much for joining us here.
Absolutely. It's been fun. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good E3.
PlayStation